So today was homework and hyper clean the house, and I only got through the top level of the house, but I started working my way downstairs, and we got one of those little Swiffer things,
Uh-huh.
and I was using the wet Swiffer pad and putting it all together. I was like, damn, this thing is like really soaked with this stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm doing it all up and everything, and I hit the bottom of the stairs. I go back up, put it down, and go down the stairs. And on the bottom step, I slipped and fell and landed flat on my back and ass. Oh my God. Like tile. Straight up, it's ceramic tile is what I landed on.
That's gotta hurt, man. That's no
It
fun.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm pretty sure my left ass cheek is going to be severely bruised. May or may not have a bruised back. I don't know.
That's
That
sad
shit.
too, because you can't even
Yeah.
sue somebody for a slip and fall.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure I could find somebody.
Sue Kayla for a slip and fall. Kayla, I might not be attending Friendsgiving, and also you have been served for my slip and fall at our joint residence.
Oh God. Yeah, I can't even blame
Also,
her
still
though because
want to
she
be
wasn't even
married?
home. I can't even blame her because she wasn't even home.
That's more reason. That's gross negligence that she wasn't on site.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, my name is Zachariah with Old Man Gaming, and for whatever reason, you have decided to tune into another horrible gaming podcast. But I am not alone, nor am I ever. With me is,
Neil, aka Tiny Wizard.
and yeah, it's gonna be a sad, depressing show today. So strap in, Susans. This is gonna be real fucking rough. But before we get into the roughness, let's go ahead and talk about the credits. Gotta give some credit where credit is due. Number one, if you're watching this on YouTube, behind the fancy timestamps, you're seeing fancy graphics. Now, some of those are stock images, but anything that was custom designed for the channel was supplied by Mr. Mark Bell. He makes all of our images, and we thank him for that. And the theme music for this show and all of the shows here at OMG is supplied by the man who makes the music, my brother Nick Van Sliders, and we
Was
thank
it
him
really
for
that hard to not say it?
I just wanted to make sure I did it right that time, because I was writing lines again before, so I just wanted to make. That's why I waited a second, because I had like one final line that was really good in my head, and I knew if I switched over, I'd forget what it was, and it was a good one. So, all right. So with that said, let's go into fan traction.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our first segment, probably our most important segment. That would be fan traction. That's where us, the co-hosts, talk to you guys, the fans. We read out your comments on from the Discord, from the YouTube, from last week, and anywhere else we can find them. Now, we got a couple of business things to go over before we get into this. First, the disclaimer that anybody who's a regular listener is going to get used to, because I'm going to be saying it just about every week, but our schedule's crazy right now for recording podcasts. Last week we recorded on Sunday, this week we're recording on Thursday. When we do record on Thursday, we're only a day out from when we actually posted on YouTube, and only 2 from when we posted the audio version. So sometimes you guys don't listen to it right away and your comments come in later. We will still read your comments. I'm making notes, I'm keeping track. If I post a podcast and you're like, hey, I commented last week and he didn't say anything, it's because we recorded before you posted, but not before I put it up. So that's all. It just got cut off in that. We will read it the next week. Okay, so please keep commenting, keep bringing us those good comments, and we will continue to read them. It's just there might be a slight delay. Next order of business, we are going to be trying a new segment with Fantraction here, and it's called the Talk Down. Now, here's how it goes. All right, we have been noticing that because of our crazy schedule and because gaming is weird, we don't always have two talking points to really hone in on. So we end up spending more time than even I think we would like to on the one talking point. Last week aside, we just got into the weeds on that one. But so what we're going to do from now on is me and Neil are going to look at all the comments before we get on air to read them. We're going to both uniformly decide on one comment that would spiral into a long-winded conversation of some sort, and then we're going to basically state that's the talk down comment. And then our first talking point of any show will be the talk down, which will be us spiraling off one of your comments, an actual talking point. So this gives you guys more reason to comment, more reason to weigh in on the things we talked about, and whatever juicy comment we pick that week, we'll kind of spin it into some bigger talking points for you guys. So I think that'll be fun for everybody. So keep those comments coming.
If there is one thing that we do just expertly, it's spiral uncontrollably.
Really, this show could be called Spiraling Uncontrollably About Gaming. Like, that's what it could be called.
Just call it The Spiral.
No, people would think that's some sort of weird emo goth shit.
No.
Definitely. Or an old school Edge Wrestler fan club. Nobody's going to get that. Don't worry.
An Uzumaki podcast.
What? An Uzumaki podcast?
Very particular.
Very particular. How specific can we take this joke? All right. So let's get into the comments. First of all, right off the bat, the talk down comment that we picked, Kev Tutal posted a little news report, a little story from Polygon in the podcast thread on Discord referring to Monster Hunter Rise and TGS. So that's going to be our first talking point. We're gonna jump into that. So Kev Tutal, you're the I guess the talk down winner. I don't want to make it a contest, but yeah, a winner is you. Yes, a winner is you. So continuing on from there, so we're going to talk about that in a second, but continuing on from there, we have Jason says ActRaiser was awesome back in the day. The second one sucked because they ripped away what made ActRaiser cool. Jason, elaborate on that, man. What in your opinion made ActRaiser cool? Because we didn't play it, so I want to know what they ripped away for the second one. Was it the city building or the side-scrolling? Like, what was it? And then he also continues to say, a game I'd like to see a remake, sequel, or spiritual successor for is Soul Blazer. That doesn't ring a bell to me. Does that ring a bell to you?
Nope.
I have to do some research on that one. I'm going to have to look that one up. Because it's possible I played it and I don't remember it because my memory is terrible. So I'm going to have to look that one up. William, my man Ho-Uin, came in. Hi! I love how he starts all of his comments with hi. I love it. It's so positive and wonderful. Zach, you should raise your mic volume a bit. You're quite a bit lower than Neil, parentheses, actually gets a little bit more balanced around the talking points / 30 minutes-ish. So, what you don't know is, just to let everybody know, the audio is something I struggle with, and I've always struggled with because of the way I record it. But I've tried many different things. If you go back to old shows, you know, when we first did this, I was literally recording it on a phone and recording a call from somebody else. Like, those are the first episodes was how we recorded it.
Oh, those were the days.
Yeah, like the audio's always been weird. And then I switched to a different mic, and then I switched to a different system, and then I switched to a different mic. And now I think I've kind of got a handle on it, but sometimes the volume issues are weird. And here's why. I'm going to give you guys the backstage pass since there's not a lot of fan interaction here. Basically, I use OBS to record everything now through the PC. For some reason, OBS records my mic in mono. There's no way I can set it to stereo. I'm not exactly sure why, but it records anything that I'm recording coming in as stereo. So literally, if I have the volume levels at the same level for Neil and myself, Neil sounds 7 times louder than me. The thing is so to answer your question, kind of, Will, is my mic is always maxed. The problem is not the max in the mic, it's that I actually need to turn down Neil and then in post, when I'm editing it all together, gain the volume in my editing program, which is usually how I do it. The thing is, though, is if I don't remember to turn him down, he sounds like he's screaming everything, and I sound like I'm having a whisper party. Like, it just does. And what's funny about this comment is, I think Neil will remember, is between fan interaction and the first talking point, I was like, oh shit, I forgot to turn you down. You're going to sound like a fucking giant. I need to turn you down. And I actually explained all of this to him, too. So I checked the levels before the show today. We should be good. We should be good.
It also doesn't help, too. I don't know if you remember, too, when we had that conversation, I accidentally slapped my gain control on my microphone. So I just cranked my gain, too. So it was like I was on 11.
I love the idea of saying crank my gain. Like, I cranked my gain, bro. I cranked my gain. He then continues.
Sounds like an old guy trying to be hip with the youth.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm YOLO 420 when I crank my gain. He then continues to say, every time I hear Bloodstained, I feel great. What a game. I'm glad you enjoyed it, buddy. He then said, happy anniversary, Zach, with a little emoji. And then parentheses, wedding anniversary, I presume. Yes, and then he says, thanks for the show. Yes, I have been married currently for 10 years to my wonderful wife, who supports me through all the insane endeavors that I go through. She is basically the internal straight man in a comedy duo she never asked to be a part of. And I can't say how awesome it is
that is a fantastic description.
I think it's about the best. I think it's about the best description I could ever have, and I couldn't ask for a better woman, a better partner in these 10 long years. And she does not listen to this. That's how you know I'm being honest, because this is in no way, shape, or form sucking up. So yeah. It is my 10th wedding. It was my 10th wedding anniversary last Thursday. So the 23rd of September. Then Kev jumps in and goes, I have failed you. I made 0 comments beside this one. Kev, it's no problem, buddy. It's no problem. You're so... I think he's so ahead on comments, he could stand to take a couple of weeks off. Not that I want you to. I definitely want you to stay in. Although what's funny is he did end up commenting on the podcast with the talk down anyway, so that kind of counts.
Yeah, and it's funny too, because I had just looked at that, and the time that he posted, it was like 10 minutes before we even got on to do this. So
yeah,
I actually see he's still on right now.
Well, and what was crazy is that's what I was, because we came up with the talk down thing. Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to take credit for it, if that's all right.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you came up with it. No, Zach. It's my idea, too, even though you told me about it while I was taking a dump.
What? You didn't need to share that part.
That's my contribution.
Well, a lot of people have gotten a lot of awards for contributing less than shit to a subject, so there you go. True. I'm full of them today. Yeah, so I came up with this idea because, this is the first time in our history we have like 3 or more semi-regular commenters. Usually it's just Kevin commenting like 17 things, and then we get 1 or 2 persons every once in a while, like Arsenic Steel. But yeah, recently we've had a lot of comments. We've had a lot of comments from more than just Kevin. It's been really nice. So I just kind of wanted to to kind of push that forward a little bit and get that, I don't know, kind of take that to the next level, give you guys even more reason to be a part of the show. I really feel like this show, and even our channel. Like, I mean, it's a big thing we do on our channel. We're all about like inclusion of our community members. Like, you guys stick with us, we stick with you. That's why we do the OMFDs. That's why we tell you the transparency reports. That's why we do all that stuff. Because we feel like you guys are part of this, you know, so like I just want to push that forward a little bit more with this. And hell, it helps us because often we're struggling for two different subjects. So that's it, man. That's all of it. We can switch over to the talk down if you want.
Alrighty.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our talk down, our new segment for the first time. And talk down today, we're going to spiral off Kevin's post to the podcast thread. He posted some stuff, some interesting stuff about Monster Hunter Rise, the Sunbreak DLC, which is going to be their big, kind of their big Iceborne DLC sort of thing style for Monster Hunter Rise, which, again, my thoughts on Monster Hunter Rise and its community are well known. I don't want to go back into that. But TGS is going on right now. Tokyo Game Show. And it's big for all sorts of JRPGs, Japanese studio video games. Like, it's huge for them. And Capcom went there and they brought a lot of Monster Hunter stuff. Honestly, today was basically just Monster Hunter stuff. So we're going to go over some of it. But the Monster Hunter Rise is also getting, this is the important part, is also getting a PC release finally, and that will be in January. And I'm not going to lie, I actually thought that Monster Hunter Rise was already on the PC. I didn't realize they had delayed that one too. That actually surprised me. I thought you could just straight up get that on PC just to start.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, you had mentioned something about the potential. I think Phil might have mentioned something too about the potential of Monster Hunter Rise coming to the PC before anything was sort of announced, because I don't think it was initially announced with a PC port coming.
I mean, obviously it wasn't. I was completely wrong. And just to go ahead and say right off the bat, like, Monster Hunter has never had universal releases for PC and whatever they're releasing on. They usually release on console, and then the PC version doesn't come until like a year later, and then they get all their stuff staggered a year behind. That's how they've always done it, and I know that, but I was under the assumption that this time they were doing it differently, and I don't know why. I don't know where I brought that from. It's on me. I didn't know that. But yeah, they are actually bringing it to PC. It will be in PC in January. If you have an interest in getting into Monster Hunter Rise, go ahead and wait for January because it's going to come out on PC. If you don't want to play it on Switch, it's going to be much prettier on PC. I assure you of that, as all things are.
As all things are in this land.
Yes. I will not, because I do not care for Monster Hunter Rise. And honestly, I'm still kind of up in the air on whether I will care about a Monster Hunter game again, just because I don't want to deal with the community.
Oh, it was just a bunch of turds on the internet.
And it was, but you have certain communities. You have certain communities that just get real toxic sometimes. And honestly, and this isn't me trying to like say like I'm going to take my ball and go home. It's not that. I tend to shy away from games with extremely toxic communities if it's a multiplayer sort of situation. Monster Hunter World, you could play all of that game by yourself, which was fine. But it was all very geared towards multiplayer community stuff, honestly. But the more you get into that Monster Hunter community, that community is surprisingly toxic for how much of a co-op game it is, which is confusing to me. You know, you look at like Warframe's the same way. I could play the whole thing alone if I want to, but it's geared more towards the online. You know what I mean? It's obviously geared more towards the online. But their community is extremely supportive and extremely nice. I just tend to gravitate. I tend to want to play that more. It puts me off. I've quit For Honor twice because of their community. It's so bad. The game brings me back, but I quit because of that community. It just makes me so mad. So, like, I don't know. There's just some about community stuff is just one of my, like, I don't know, turn-offs, I guess, when it comes to video games.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. yeah, I'm not trying to be a spoiled baby like, oh, I released a video and nobody liked it, so fuck Monster Hunter. I mean, fuck the people who didn't like that video. Fuck them right in their buttholes. I'll say that right now. But that wouldn't be enough to turn me off of a game. It's just overall that community just, I don't know. It's just really, I just don't like it. I don't like that. And honestly, Monster Hunter Rise isn't my sort of game anyway. I'm kind of hoping for Monster Hunter World 2. That's what I'm waiting for. But since he commented on that, I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that?
Not really.
I don't want to get accused of not letting you have a thought like before. So let's just go ahead and talk about really quickly, because this is not going to be the Nintendo thing. Let's just use the talk down to kind of go over everything that got announced at TGS. I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to have a lot to say about this, just because none of this stuff means anything to me. I'm kind of surprised. First of all, I think the biggest negative from TGS, no Final Fantasy 16 whatsoever. Like, Jesus Christ, what's a TGS without a Final Fantasy, right?
Yeah, I think that is one of the main things that we can really talk about with this is the fact that, again, if I remember correctly, Final Fantasy 16 was supposed to be coming out this year, holiday season, and we have heard zero for over a year since it was shown off at the PS5 price reveal last year.
Yeah.
It's bizarre, very bizarre.
It is. It's very bizarre. So then we also got Eternal Return gets a release date and trailer. Don't even know what that game is, but if somebody out there is interested in it, it's coming out on October 19th. Swery's The Good Life. Swery is his name is actually Hidetaka Suhiro, and he is the writer and guy behind Deadly Premonition, which wasn't that like a cult travesty, like Trainwreck game, I thought?
Yes.
Yeah, right? Like, yeah, that's the whole point of that one. Well, he's made another game somehow, and it's called The Good Life, and it's set to be released on October 15th, and it will actually also be getting an Xbox exclusive demo today. So that's right out already. So you can go to Xbox, you can download the demo and play it, which is interesting because you don't see a lot of demos on the Xbox, honestly. And then, in addition to that, it's going to be Games Pass day one. Anything to add to that, buddy?
Nah.
Okay. King of Fighters 15. SN Kane reveals its first all-new character. I don't really care about that. Do you care about that?
No, and I don't think I've ever played King of Fighters even.
I've played King of Fighters. I've played some old King of Fighters. I like King of Fighters. It's a good game. I like their character,
character designs. Yeah, I love
that's really cool character designs, and some of their moves are really cool. Like they're very different with their moves. But I'm not a huge fighting game guy, so I'm not into this as readily, I guess, as I should be. I don't know. Then we have Redfall and Starfield and more will be localized for Japan. Microsoft reconfirmed its commitment to Japan by revealing that Arcane Studios Yeah, come on, typos.
I see
you
that.
Fucking serious?
Yeah, it's a typo.
IGN, come on, man. Where's your fucking editor? And this story's been up for 2 days. Like, get somebody in there and put an F in there, you fucks. Oh, man. I can make typos. You can't. You're IGN, for fuck's sake. Arcane Studios' Redfall will include a complete Japanese voice cast at launch, and that Bethesda's Starfield will include Japanese text and voices. Bethesda's Todd Howard revealed that this will be the team's largest translation ever, with over 300 actors and 150,000 lines of dialogue. They also added that it's double the lines of dialogue of Skyrim. And I just want to say, I'm so sick of weird facts like that and people getting oohed and ahhed about that on fucking socials and shit. It's got twice the lines of dialogue of Skyrim. Yeah, you know what? My game that I haven't actually showed anything for has 4 times the amount of Skyrim. Are you oohed and ahed? Because yes. my game exists about as much as Starfield does right now.
Shut up and take my money.
Yeah? You gonna pre-order? You don't even want to know the title of the game?
Nope, don't care.
I can give it some weird Nintendo name like Project Project Rectangle Love Man or something like that.
And then just call it Rectangle Love Man.
And then just drop the project Rectangle Love Man. RLM.
It fits. It sticks. Let's do it.
RLM. Coming 2022, 23, 24 sometime. Scarlet
Angle's the right one.
Scarlet Nexus and more headed to Xbox Games Pass. So that's Scarlet Nexus, AI, the Somnium files, I can't even say that right, and Mighty Goose are all playable on Xbox Games Pass as of today. And Scarlet Nexus is not a me game. That's not a game I'm going to try, but it got a lot of good reviews. It did.
Yeah, Scarlet Nexus was a me game.
Yeah, it is. It's a very Neo game.
Yeah, the only thing keeping me from it is my lack of time.
Yeah, I mean, seriously. Like, that's it. So you can try it now. Yeah. Tango Gameworks is developing a new game, Evil Within 2 director leading. I mean, do we really care about that? And just so you guys know, if you guys care about this, that's great. That's why we're reading these things. We're not saying we don't care about this, like, fuck your shit. We're just saying this isn't something that speaks to us. That's all. I don't want people to get mad that we're like, who cares or whatever. Then Phil Spencer had this weird, like, on-screen thing where he was like, it was like a conversation with Shinji Mikami or something that basically he's just working to increase Japanese game lineup. But, I mean, that's not new. Monster Hunter Rise is also getting a Ghosts and Goblins and a Sonic collaboration. They love their collaborations there. And then that's it. That's it. That's everything from TGS so far. I believe there's going to be some more news. But honestly, if that's the headliners, TGS is a little weak this year. A little weak.
I mean, it goes through October 3rd, so
yeah,
I mean, it will already be over by the time everyone's listening to this. But outside of that, I mean, I don't know what it is they could show. I mean, Final Fantasy still could show up somewhere.
Yeah.
It's there's still time for things to show up.
Right.
So we will see if anything shows up, and I'm sure we will talk about those things.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be a week out, but definitely. All right, let's go ahead and head off to the next talking point. I think successful first talking point. Thank you to Kev for the first talk down. Thank you.
Yes.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right, so that brings us to our talking point today. It's not going to be a fun one, guys. Not going to be a fun one because though we try as we might to avoid Activision Blizzard as much as humanly possible, you know, we're not very good ones, but we're gaming journalists. That's what we do when we do this podcast. So,
using that term very loosely.
Very, very loosely. but at the end of the day, we have to cover this stuff eventually, or what's the point of us having a podcast, you know? So, we got to go back to Activision Blizzard. And we have a big one here, because I kind of predicted this, but we'll get to that. They've settled with the Federal Employment Agency. So basically what had happened is there's a lot of lawsuits going against Blizzard, and then the FEA, the Federal Employment Agency, got involved. Basically, they decided, okay, this is fucked up. We're coming after you. And, you know, you and me, Neil, we both were like, oh, shit's going to happen this time. And then at one point I was like, unless they buy their way out of everything. And then we had a little argument where it was like, not an argument, but a back and forth where it was like, oh, I don't think they can buy their way out of it this time. Looks like they can. So I'm just going to go over this article, and then we'll talk about it. We'll get into it. So basically what happened is Blizzard has settled with the FEA for $18 million. I know for us, our normal people, that sounds like an absolutely insane amount of money. But for Activision and Blizzard, it is like a drop in the bucket. Especially to the amount of people that they've hurt. But nonetheless, they've settled, and they released this. Basically, Activision Blizzard just put out a press release indicating that it has reached an agreement to settle the just revealed U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission lawsuit. It states, in part, under the agreement, Activision Blizzard has committed to create an $18 million fund to compensate and make amends to eligible claimants. Any amount not used for the claimants will be... Okay, pop-up ad. Don't need you right now. Thank you very much. Any amount not used for the claimants will be divided between charities that advance women in the video gaming industry or promote awareness around harassment and gender equality issues, as well as company diversity, equality, and inclusion initiatives, as approved by the EEOC. The agreement is subject to court approval. Then, Bobby Kotick decided to talk. Yay! He always says great things. Although, I mean, he does say something good here, but it's kind of who gives a shit sort of stuff. He says, there is no place anywhere in our company for discrimination, harassment, or unequal treatment of any kind, and I am grateful to the employees who bravely shared their experiences.
Shut the fuck up. It's just corporate speak. He's trying to cover his ass.
I am sorry to anyone who had to experience inappropriate conduct, and I remain unwavering in my commitment to make Activision Blizzard one of the world's most inclusive, respected, and respectful workplaces. Here's the thing. This is very obviously a pre-printed statement, and I would be more apt to be like, okay, if you hadn't, like, hired a union buster, hired lawyers to suppress them, shredded HR files, like, you did everything in your power to stop this without paying money. Kotick, of course, is receiving effective compensation of $154 million in 2021. That's this year. The same year the lawsuits are going on, the same year that all of this accusations are happening, he is still getting paid $154 million. That I want to put in perspective to everybody. They're willing to pay $18 million to all the people they hurt. So, divided between all the people they hurt, those people have to come forward, which in itself we're going to talk about is kind of an issue. Those people have to come forward to the company itself and claim money against them, and then they'll take from the pot. But Kotick is still receiving 6 times that, 7 times that. I'm not good with math, but astronomical amounts of money.
So...
He could easily cover the $18 million cost of the EEOC lawsuit settlement many times over. And Neil, I know you want to get going on this, I know you want to. I know you got a lot to say, and that's cool. But I want to just read the response real quick, too, before we get into that. If that's okay with you,
go ahead.
I mean, if you want to interrupt me, I understand. I've interrupted you plenty of times.
I got my one interruption out of the way. I just hit my gain again on my microphone. What the
Yay! Yay! Loudness. Okay, so this is a response. A group of tech and gaming workers have slammed Activision's Blizzard's planned settlement with the U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, saying the $18 million compensation fund for employees who were harassed or discriminated against is not enough. Why? That doesn't matter. What they're saying. $18 million is a slap in the face to workers considering blah, 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 is worth the amount that they put out is worth $72 billion, and workers dealt with toxic working conditions for years to actually create that income of $72 billion. Let me see. I wanted to... Okay, here. Code's partner union, the Communication Workers of America, added, the EEOC has sent a message that corporate bad actors will not be held accountable for their abuse of workers. The CWA is urging the SEC, National Labor Relations Board, and the state of California, who are also scrutinizing Activision Blizzard, to take a harder line. Asked about negative reactions to the size of the fund, an Activision rep told Axios, which is the people reporting on this, we agreed on $18 million with the EEOC, who is an expert in this area. The company encourages impacted workers to submit claims. The EEOC has previously declined to comment on the statement. All right, go ahead, man.
So to put all of this into perspective further, we kind of got into a little bit of numbery sort of stuff right here, but I have the Ars Technica article pulled up for this, and the headline is literally a drop in the bucket. So in 2020, Activision Blizzard pulled in $8.1 billion in one single year. This settlement is for $18 million, less than 5% of 1 year's revenue.
Yeah.
Wow. And that just like, this is adding insult to injury. I mean, they've already stated, it's like a slap in the face. It's offensive, truly, the money that they're putting up for it. They're just like, oh, well, you can get a little bit more if you want, and we're going to donate the rest of it to, these other things, other charitable groups to put forward, equal rights in the workplace, stuff like that. But at the same time, boy, are they just pushing this Diablo 2 remake, and boy, are they just pushing their Call of Duty game coming out. Like, I get it, you're a business, you still have to operate. But the lengths that they're going through to avoid the bad press on this and to bury anything that they can. And even the Activision Blizzard Twitter 3 days ago is trying to correct news stories that are popping up about this. One of them I'm reading right now, reports incorrectly characterized the EEOC's complaint against the company as an ongoing dispute. We have reached a comprehensive agreement with the EEOC that is subject to court approval. So, like, they are just trying their damnedest to be like, no. We paid our little, it's like a speeding ticket.
Yep.
Is basically what they got. And that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. And I hope the other actors, because I mean, there's multiple at this point that are investigating Activision Blizzard, do in fact take a harder line on this, because there's never going to be any accountability. There's never going to be any change unless somebody takes the fall. And if there's anybody to take a fall and have an example made of them, it is this right here for this exact instance. With how they're handling everything, they almost feel like they're invincible. Bobby Kotick can't shut his damn mouth. And we also we didn't talk about it when it first came out. What was it, the FEC or SEC, something like that. One of the other ones is the other group. One of the other groups that's investigating this is also subpoenaing Bobby Kotick's communications between other executives from, what was it, 2019 all the way up through. So it's been a multi-year thing. Like, it's big. It's big if the Fed is getting involved.
Yep. Yeah. I'm waiting for you to finish to add to this.
that's pretty much it. I mean, we've already mentioned the spiraling, because at this point I'm just going to start restating things I've already said.
Okay, I'm going to add some fresh takes to it, honestly. Okay. First of all, I do want to say that often on this podcast, you and I are opposed, or if not slightly, diametrically sometimes, especially on big items such as like crunch and stuff like that. A lot of times we argue about things. I play devil's advocate sometimes just to get good content. I'll say it. But we are completely and totally agreed on this. I think that. And don't get me wrong, I'm not expecting them to give $72 billion to people. I'm not expecting them not to make money in a year. But for you to offer what, 5% of your CEO's salary that year is crazy to me. That's one CEO. So you think about that. Think about the amount of money that these people are making versus the amount of money they've shelled out to these workers who have been discriminated against, they have been sexually harassed, sexually assaulted. The list of things that they've done, like I said, we are not talking about somebody saying a comment and somebody misunderstanding it. and they need sensitivity training. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about like Cosby rooms. We're talking about
I was
like
just about to say they
right.
had a goddamn Cosby.
Right,
room.
we're talking about Cosby rooms. We're talking about people like finding ways to watch people in like using the breastfeed room to like watch women's boobs. Like we're talking about terrible shit that people have said to each other. Well, like this is a level of stuff like we're not talking about your average like workplace banter. This is a level of stuff that is wrong. And the other thing that bothers me about this whole thing, and this is the fresh take, because I'm agreeing with everything you already said. Like I said, I'm not expecting them to shell out just like loads of money everywhere, but 18 million is nothing. The other thing about this that bothers me is them shelling out money to the people who were hurt and shelling out money to charities does not fix the problem. It does not aid anything. They have not actually agreed to change any of their policies. They haven't agreed to fire anybody who is responsible. In fact, everybody who's left the company has stepped down of their own volition. I mean, let's face it, most likely they stepped down to either escape charges or they stepped down because they were forced out by other people because they knew the charges would be coming. But still, they stepped down of their own volition. They haven't done anything in their own company to make to correct anything that happened. Plus, and I could be wrong on this. If I'm wrong on this, somebody correct me. I don't want to be wrong in a situation like this. But everything I have read has said that for them to actually get their money, they have to actually go to the company and say, you sexually harassed me, give me part of that money. How is that going to work? That's like, go get your money from the bully that was abusing you in the first place. Like, that's insane to me. That I don't think any of this money is going to be like, well, some of it will be. I think anybody who does step forward to get their money is going to be forced out or continue to be abused until they leave because they accepted the money, and then they're going to end up just giving that money to charity because they don't want to give it to the people. This does not help anybody. This is literally like a way for them to spend as little money as humanly possible and do as little to correct the problem. They bought their way out. They bought their way out 100%. And they're not, what's bothering me about this is they're not even really buying their way out. They're not even really spending money at this moment. No. They are relying on the people. The abuser is saying all the abused has to do is ask me for money and I'll pay them. That's insane. That's absolutely insane. That's absolutely insane. That's like asking an attacker to apologize for the attack, like, and nobody to check up on it. Like, that is insane. That's the part that really bugs me about all of this. Like, how are you going to do that, and how are you going to get away with that? Look, I have said repeatedly on this podcast, I don't necessarily want government interference in video games. I don't like the government in things. They tend to fuck things up. I don't like unions, but this is the worst possible solution to this problem. The worst possible solution to this problem. I mean, if they were going to shell out 18 mil, right? Only 18 mil, but then they were going to say, we're also going to submit a list of changed corporate policies. We're going to undergo all this like sensitivity training. We're going to fire these certain people who were most responsible for it. I would be a little bit more positive on this. Even though it's not a lot of money and it should be more, I'd be a little bit more positive on that. Because really, the problem isn't like, let's just throw money at the hurt. The problem is we need to stop hurting people. Like, these people are going to keep hurting people until we stop them from hurting people. And allowing them to spend the smallest amount of money possible is not going to teach them a lesson,
Right. And I could see too if it was like maybe like a reoccurring like for maybe like the next 5 years, it's still a drop in the bucket,
right?
But it like would signal like committing to some sort of level of atonement or change or something.
See,
a one-time payout is nothing, especially when it's a fraction of a fraction, basically.
Especially
like
when
you
the
said,
people
too,
have to submit to the abuser.
right. And like you said too, like there's been no talk of changing anything like that. It's just been, we are strongly opposed to X, Y, and Z. Like we just found out too.
Right.
Oh my goodness, there's no way that this is a surprise to anybody. I mean, for shit's sake, they were shredding HR
Right.
that screams guilty.
Right.
Anything. If you're shredding documents for anything, no matter what it is, I don't care if you're trying to hide going to lunch and you didn't get anything for your wife or anything like that. Like, that's guilty.
Right. If you're shredding documents, there's something in there you don't want people to see. The other thing is, honestly, I almost, like, I see what you're saying. I almost disagree with you on the yearly payment, just because I don't think an amount of money solves this problem. I mean, I think they should pay the people they've hurt, definitely. But I think here's the thing, okay? You look at some horrible working conditions in gaming, right? Like, let's use Anthem as an example, right? We heard all the stories after Anthem that there were people, like, crying in the bathroom because they were working so much crunch and stuff like that. I want you to consider, though, that company is as big as at least EA, it's up there with Blizzard and Activision, right? Like, you're with me on that, right? Nobody walked out. You heard a story about it afterwards, but nobody walked out. Nobody filed a lawsuit. Nobody came after them. This isn't like 3 or 4 people walking out. Like, this is walkouts on a huge scale, tons of lawsuits. Like, these people aren't just making people work hours they don't want to work or making them work on holidays. They're treating people like shit, and they're getting away with it. And that's terrible. You know what I mean? It's absolutely terrible, and that's the problem. Like, I don't know. I'm trying to, like, level out the gravity of this, because, like, I don't know. I just want to make sure everybody understands, like, why this is such a bad thing. This isn't even like we've bitched about crunch on this channel. We bitched about this and that. This isn't even that. You know, this is terrible shit that they did to people. You know, and like, for them to spend $18 million, you know, it's nothing. It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. Especially when, like I said, it's gatekept by the very company that did the damage to these people in the first place.
Right.
Like, like I said, man, they bought the way out. Put all of the dollars down as far as they could see. They purchased silence. They bought their way out, man. They bought their fucking way out. Like, and they didn't even buy their way out. Like, that's what blows my mind, is they haven't even spent a dime yet. They haven't even spent a dime. Like, they promised $18 million to charities. Man, I don't know. This is a really rough story, and this is a really bad hit for common human decency in gaming. And I think this goes to the point that, like, just AAA game companies they're just so big. They're like their own third world countries now. Like, that's how big they are. They think they can just literally do anything now. Like, they are above the law. They're like loan companies back when the fucking crash came there. Like, they just think they can do and get away with anything.
Yeah, I mean, eventually something is going to happen. Hopefully.
I mean,
honestly, if something doesn't come of this, even in the
I don't
end,
think it is.
What's the breaking point?
I don't think they're going to have a breaking point. So I've totally changed my thought process on this, especially after this story came out. I don't think any of these people are. I don't think Bobby Kotick's going to go down. I don't think any of them are going to go down. And I'm sorry, anybody listening, you're about to get real depressed. But I'm a 40-year-old guy. I've seen this shit happen 1,000 times with 1,000 companies, and I'm going to tell you right now, None of these guys are going to go down. None of them are going to go down. They're not going to go to jail. We're not going to get a union. It's going to go back to business as usual eventually. Here's what I think is going to happen, though, is the problem with these people is their hubris and their ego. These guys, I think what's going to kill the AAA game company is what I said before. It's the fact that they try to spend more money than they can make. And I think you're going to get to that point. You're going to get to that critical mass where they just basically they think they're bulletproof, so they're going to let somebody shoot them. You know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what it's going to come down. I don't think it's going to be legal. I don't think legal is ever going to take these companies down. I think they are eventually going to collapse on themselves naturally, and then we'll get a whole new breed of companies in there who will eventually do the same thing. Circle of life, baby.
Circle of life.
I'm sorry. I told you it was going to be depressing today. I told everybody it was going to be depressing today. I warned them. You were warned. You were warned. It was going to be fucking depressing. But that's the truth. I mean, that's just the truth with this kind of shit. Like, especially with everything going on in the world. Like, the world is dealing with a lot of other problems. They don't care about the gaming industry right now. And I think that's even more so by this, is that this company's like, whatever, we don't care. Let's just make them pay some money so that people will stop knocking on our doors, you know? And they're taking shit for it, but I don't know. I definitely have a reserved opinion that any like actual government intervention is actually going to be, because I think this was the government intervention, and if this was the government intervention, that's like the equivalent of us sending a tank to fight the Nazis. Like, it's just not. It's not anything. So it's not gonna be anything, and that means that they're on their own, and that sucks. That sucks for them. That sucks for the people who were hurt by these people, who are hurt by this company. Like, it just blows my mind.
Well, remember, we still had the DOJ and the SEC on them, so there's still a chance.
Yeah. I mean, there's still a chance, but and they might get pressure from this, but I'm just not gonna hold my breath. I'm just not. I'm like, there's just too. And I'm not going to say they're too big to fail, because I think they're too big to succeed at this point. I think they're just so big. There's this old experiment. I think it was called the Utopia Experiment, where they locked a bunch of mice on like layers of like a building, you know? And then like the mice at the very top got all the food and water, and then the mice at the bottom didn't. And then it was up to the mice at the top to kind of disseminate it. And they never did, right? They never did. But what they ended up doing was getting so fat that they didn't want to fuck anymore, and they just died out.
This is bizarre.
It is bizarre. I'm going there. But that's what this is. We have to wait for Activision, EA, Blizzard to basically get so fat they don't want to fuck anymore, and then they just die out. Like, it's basically the same thing. We just got to wait until they're so big and so fat that they can't feed themselves anymore, and then they just cease to exist. It's just usually how it works. America, baby. America!
Well, on that absolutely just stellar positive note, do we want to go on to odds and ends?
Yeah, I think we should. I think I got some positives and odds, and I can't remember because they're all from last week because we didn't do it. But,
yeah.
But hopefully I got some positives. I don't want to just keep bitching at everybody. Just thoroughly depressing show. All right, guys. We're gonna go to odds and ends.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
I don't know. All right, let's do odds and ends. Let's be happy. All right. Going in 3, 2, 1. That brings us to our final segment, odds and ends. This is where we collect smaller news stories, not necessarily big ones that deserve an entire talking point, but just smaller things that we want to riff about, we want to talk about, we want to tell you guys about, stuff like that. So, I don't know, Neil. I'm looking at my list here. How many do you have?
I have 3.
I have 4.
All right. Well,
So-
then you go. You start, and we.
I
every
guess I should start. I am My first one is obviously dated, so I'm just gonna say it and get it out of the way. Apple has indefinitely blocked Fortnite because
Yeah,
of
I saw that.
the outcome of the whole lawsuit, but which is insane because
Yeah.
while Fortnite technically won, Fortnite has to pay Apple for all of the losses of the court costs, so they didn't really win. It was almost like a mutually assured destruction sort of thing.
Yeah.
But instead of just being like, all right, we're done, Apple's like, no, fuck you, and takes Fortnite off all of their stuff, which I guess, when it happened, I was like I had never seen it coming, but still when I read the headline, I was like, yeah, okay.
Right.
Like, yeah, okay, got it.
Well, I'm actually just going to piggyback right off of that one because mine is also Fortnite related and
Yay!
is bizarre. So apparently there is a luxury clothing line called
Okay.
Balenciaga, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly.
I'm really interested to see where this is going.
So they are collaborating with Epic and doing Fortnite clothing. And the prices for some of this shit is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah,
So
sweet.
a simple just ball cap that's just got the Fortnite logo on it is $395.
Good God.
They have a simple black hoodie with just Fortnite in white wording for $725. And a jacket for $1,290.
Good
Oh,
God.
my God.
That's
It's just bizarre. Just absolutely
that's
crazy. Stupid crazy.
Can
Like, who is that individual? Who is that? Who's this for?
I don't know. Like, I think about like a hoity-toity rich person wearing a Fortnite hat to like a fucking like ball or something. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I'm in some sort of weird cyberpunk future already. Like anytime I see those games, people are like, look at this weird dystopian future. I'm like, you mean 2021? You mean like
Yeah.
right now? Because this is fucking insane. Like sometimes I see shit on the like every time I go to Twitch, one of my recommended channels is a girl, scantily clad, licking a microphone. That's all she does. She streams for like 4 straight hours. She just licks the microphone with like her tits half out. That is her entire. Like, that's crazy, right? Like, that's insane. And she makes god awful amounts of cash for this. Like, that to me is like something you like. That's something I would have watched in the 90s on like a Fringe movie at like 4 a.m. on Encore that like I've never seen before and will have a hard time finding the DVD later in life. You know what I mean? Like that's
Right.
like that's something you see in this. That's like Blade Runner shit. Like, and that stuff just happens. And no offense to her, hey man, she's making a money. Lick all the mics you want, whatever. But like, still, that's crazy to me. That's like people seek that out in droves. There's another Twitch channel where a girl just normal pajamas, not scantily clad, just gets into bed and sleeps and turns on a webcam and you can watch her sleep all night. That's it.
Oh, that's
Yeah, no sexy stuff, no anything. She's just in pajamas. She's got a night vision camera and you just watch her sleep. What the fuck is that?
if I can get away with that.
Right? I've thought about it. I've thought about licking a mic. I don't fucking care because the whole point is it's supposed to be ASMR, I think. But like for me, I'm like, if it's ASMR, why are her titties out all the time? Like I don't understand. Like if if it's just about that whole ASMR thing, why are you half naked every time you get on? But it's weird to me. Like it's just like we're living in a weird. Like, and like I said, more power. If you can make that kind of money just sleeping in a bed, go for it. But it's like stuff you'd see like floating by Harrison Ford in Blade Runner when he's trying to figure out what a replicant is. Like it's crazy shit. And we live in that. We live in that society now. I don't know.
It's wild to bring that movie up because I just watched it for the first time the other day.
That movie's fucked up, man. That movie is fucked up.
I was not impressed.
Neither was I. I've never been. Look, I might get shit on by the people who I don't know who, because I know Kevin's an older hat, but Blade Runner, not my thing. Got no care for Blade Runner. None whatsoever.
It's funny because that opening shot, it said something like November 2020 and everything's on fire. I'm like, yeah, that's about right.
right though, right. Like it's like a virus wiped everybody out, and then you got people in masks everywhere, like in the post-apocalyptic stuff, and I'm like, I got people in masks in my grocery market. Like, I mean, obviously it's not as bad as that, but it's weird. It's real weird what we got going on right now.
Absolutely.
All right, so is it my turn?
Yes, it is your turn.
Okay. All right. Let me see. I'm going to go with... the rest of mine are fun. So I'm going to go with the Shade one, because I think this is fucking hysterical. So Splitgate is in early access. It's a multiplayer shooter, which basically it looks and feels a lot like Halo, but their trick is you can make portals, basically like Portal, and like run through walls and teleport and stuff. So they threw some shade at 343. Basically, somebody said, Xbox posted a post, which this was a mistake to start with, but just said, put a post down here who will make every gamer mad at you. And Splitgate put a post in there that just said, Splitgate will have Forge first. Forge before Halo.
Oh God.
Yep. I like slow clapped in my living room when I read that. I was like, yeah. And on that note, hashtag boycott Halo. Okay, so moving on, your turn.
Yeah. Let me see here. Okay. So this one's real quick. Apparently the Xbox Series X mini fridge is getting info this month about the release of it. That is something that I want, and I don't know why I want it, but I really do.
Consumerism has you, man.
I think, yeah, it does.
It's got you good.
Really
it's got those tendrils in you. Every once in a while, you tell me you bought a thing, and I'm like, you did? That's a thing you did? And you're like, yeah, I did that. And I'm like, all right, well, we're different people.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, I want to see, what if it, like, doesn't work?
That would be sad.
And it just gives you, like, a red ring somewhere on it?
Because I'm sure it's not going to be cheap.
No. For lukewarm drinks. Okay, so my next one. So this is kind of a weird one. This is a little bit more of a rumor. Nothing's concrete announced, but strong sources are pointing to the fact that Studio Quantic Dream is making a Star Wars game. Now, if you don't know who Quantic Dream is, they make kind of almost like Telltale style games, like almost like visual novels, but very high graphic fidelity. Yeah. Their biggest claim to fame, in my opinion, unless you can correct me, is Detroit Being Human, right?
Yeah, that's just their most recent one. Heavy Rain was their big breakout thing.
I didn't think Heavy Rain was as big as Detroit. But Heavy Rain's the other one.
Detroit, I got to say, Detroit, I played Detroit, and it was absolutely fantastic. Granted, there's, like, not much to do, obviously.
Yeah.
Because you're playing a movie.
Right.
Basically. But, it looked beautiful and played pretty good.
Yeah, so they're going to get to make a Star Wars game, according to strong rumors, which would be interesting. I think that would be Yeah, that would be really cool. I think they're very good at that kind of branching narrative story, and it'd be very like Telltale-y. I would be I'd be all in for that. I think that'd be a cool idea for a game. Yeah. So you got one more, right?
Yeah, I do. And it
Hit me
is
with your best shot.
it is an entry in our reoccurring segments.
Yay!
I'm gonna get Google Stadia for free now. This one's a doozy. So,
Okay.
Google is giving the Stadia Premium bundle away for free. To whom, you might ask?
Yeah.
To those who have already canceled Stadia Pro. In a way to try to get them to come back to the service, they are offering the Stadia Premium bundle to those who had once been subscribed to Stadia Pro and are no longer. What do we have to do to kill this thing? What do we have to do? What writing needs to be on the walls?
Just love the idea of like somebody just like, hey, I'd like to cancel my Google Pro, and then be like, you sure? Yeah, no, this isn't good. I don't want it. What if we gave it to you for half price? No, I don't want it. I still don't want it. What if we gave it to you for $5? What? No, I don't want it. It's not good. All right, you can just have it. You can keep it. You want to just keep it?
Hey, apparently it just got voice chat, so yeah, 2 years in.
A streaming online system just got voice chat. I didn't even know that. That's crazy. I would have railed against that even harder. That's the most insane thing I've ever heard. Like a thing that's all about internet and internet play just got voice chat. That's what the fuck. Yeah. Good God. Oh man. Oh, that thing is just rotting on a back lawn somewhere. It is the most ridiculous thing. I don't even know what else to say about it.
You know, just for shits and giggles the other day, I went on eBay to see how much these controllers are going for, because I just have my Stadia controller just sitting here that I got for free.
Right.
They're going for like anywhere between $25 and $50 still. So I don't.
Oh.
There's somebody out there. Somebody out there.
Can you use the controller for anything else?
I don't think so. No. I mean,
well, what the fuck is the point of that?
Honestly, I only got mine for free because it came with a Google Chrome Ultra. Yeah, it's the only reason I signed up to get it in the first place.
You had said that. That is most ridiculous. Oh, okay. All right, so I guess that brings me to my last one, and this is kind of a weird one. Super weird. So, Night School Games. They made Oxenfree, which is kind of I don't know, would that be a cult indie darling, I guess?
Yeah, indie darling.
They also made this other game. I urge anybody who likes a very interactive, narrative-driven game to go try, called After Party. It's in Game Pass. God, After Party was amazing. I played After Party all the way through. That game is amazing. And nobody really liked it, but basically the idea behind it is you're two shitty people who like died and love to drink, and you want to get back, you want to get out of hell, and you go to hell basically, and you want to get out of hell. The only way to do that is to win a drinking contest against the devil, who just has parties every night. So you have to like go on this crazy bar crawl to get to him. The game is fucking awesome. It's just so much fun to play and to chuckle at and to laugh at. It's just great. It's great. But nonetheless, they're working on Oxenfree 2 right now. They have assured that it will come out on all platforms when it does release, but they are officially owned by Netflix.
Oh.
Yeah, Netflix just bought them.
I saw Netflix made an acquisition for their first gaming acquisition. I didn't know it was them.
Yeah, it was Night School. They bought Night School. And a lot of people are like, are you putting Oxenfree on Netflix somehow? And they're like, as far as we know, we're putting Oxenfree on all of our things. That's what we're developing it for, and that's what we're going to do for it. But this makes, honestly, it's a smart move for Netflix, because I feel like if Netflix is already, let's face it, Netflix is kind of testing water with all their weird choose your own adventure TV bullshit that they do
yeah.
already. Like, that's what they're doing. They're already testing that shit. So the next step is to make the games more complicated and to be able to hook a controller up to it. And I think that, like, Night School is kind of a perfect acquisition for that. It really is. They do kind of visual novels, but they're very interactive. They're very playable. There's a lot of, like, mini games in them and stuff that make, and you move the characters, you know. It's not just picking dialogue trees, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, it's just picking dialogue tree. You know what I mean? Like, it's that line right in the middle. And I feel like that's a smart move for Netflix. It's just, are they going to put the games on Netflix itself? Like, is that what they're going to do? Like, are you going to be able to just go into Netflix and pick a game and then play it with your controller? Like, that's insane to me.
I'm sure they're going to have a game streaming service of some sort. I mean, they're pre-built. They're literally pre-wired for streaming.
Yeah.
I imagine that's the route that they would go.
I mean, I guess, I think that, like, game streaming is so much more involved, though, than, like, movie streaming. I mean, obviously.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You saw what happened with Google.
I mean, yeah, just objectively, you know, whenever you're streaming a movie, there's no feedback. They push the data to you, it gets used, and that's it.
Right.
You know, you've got to worry about your up and downstream with your data connection with that. Like,
yeah.
It's not as simple as just saying, like, well, I'm just going to do the game streaming now. And we as a country don't have the network set up for that broadly enough to justify building an entire industry around that.
You know what I think they should do? I think they should do Game Pass. Is what I think they should do.
Partner up with Microsoft?
No, I think they should, like, you should download it to whatever system you're using it on. And then what they should do, they could just run it through Netflix. The only trick to that is the storage. Like, because if you're watching Netflix on a smart TV, you can't download an 150 gig game to your smart TV. You know what I mean? So, like, the trick is, like, how do you do storage with that? So, like, I mean, honestly, Netflix could even release a system relatively easily if they did that. Like, if it was like a Fire Stick sort of thing, or like a small, just basically it's a hard drive and the software to run the Netflix gaming thing, and it just plugged into your smart TV, and then basically, like, you just downloaded games right to the storage unit. Like, that's pretty cool, actually. I would be down with that. That'd be something interesting. I don't know that I'd try it, but it'd be something interesting, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's an idea. That's my last odds, and then I think we're ready to wrap it up a little bit early.
I do believe
the prophecy finally came true. We actually did.
The prophecy hath been fulfilled.
Do an earlier show. I mean, we're still gonna end up being about an hour and 20, so it's not really.
Yeah,
early,
something like that.
But yeah. All right.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
All right. So that's the end of the show, and you know what comes with that: shameless self-promotion. So, Neil, anything special you want to plug? I'm laughing because I know.
We have the final episode of Halo in the ODST Halo Infinite Road season 4. Yeah, season 4 of that. And that is the one. That is the one where the things happen for a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
If you like a long episode, that's for you. But after that, there's going to be a fair break between it.
Probably a week or two. Yeah.
Yeah, but we will be then jumping into Halo Reach.
We will be jumping into Halo Reach, which I find interesting. It's going to be very much like you were very meh about ODST the entire time, which kind of hurt me a little bit because I love that game, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be pretty meh about Reach the entire time, and I know that's like your favorite, so
yeah,
this is going to be fun. We're going to hurt each other. I do want to second that, though. Please, it's going to be like an hour fucking long, but please watch the finale of Season 4 of Halo Infinite Road. I can't ask hard enough. I will get on my knees and grovel to you because I don't know that I've ever been so proud of anything I've ever done in a game, and it happens in there. So please check it out. It's something I don't think it could ever happen again. I think magic happened that night, and I'd like you all to share with it. So please check out. We do firefight. It's really entertaining. Check it out. As far as other streams go, or other stuff goes, I'm streaming on Twitch. Please check me out. Please get me a follow. I'm trying to get affiliate on there. And then we've got Let's Plays every day. Every day. We've got the Prelude to Divorce with my wife. We just did GeoGuessr. You're going to be seeing 2 more episodes of that, which is a lot of fun. I've got Halo Infinite Road with Neil. Me and Phil have some shows coming up for you. Plus, I am exporting over some of the Twitch streams, some of the more linear Twitch streams I've been doing, especially the Wildermyth stream, where I make all the community members in Wildermyth and then get them all killed. It's wonderful. So check that out. And yeah, you can check out everything else we have to offer here on the channel, and you can also reach us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. The link is in the description below. You can influence this and all of our shows from there. And we'll be back next week. As long as you guys keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them. Pause. Okay. Let's do plugs and get out of here.
Alrighty.
Going in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
What just happened? What the fuck just happened?
I missed the resume button on my stopwatch.
I heard and then it's 3, 2, 1 again. Like, did life just skip?
Right? No, I missed the resume button on my things.
Excellent.
Okay, actually going this time. 3, 2, 1.